Boredom. It's one of the most difficult things, in my opinion, to deal with. Because so often, at least for me, boredom comes from a world of there's nothing to do, or there feels like there's nothing to do. And that's pretty rarely the case. More often than not, I've got stuff that I could be doing, stuff that I want to be doing, stuff that challenges me, things that teach me things, all kinds of things. Right? Like, there's never a shortage of things you could be doing. I'm a man of too many hobbies, a man that does way too much. I stretch myself way too thin, way too frequently. And that's not a fat joke, although I do need to lose some weight. Dang. Ugh. Anyway, I'm making this video because for the first time in a long time, I'm bored. I'm actually bored. And that's weird. Because with things like the internet or my writing stuff or my family, you'd think boredom doesn't exist. It's gone. It's not a part of my life. That's not the case. At least not all the time. Well, and also I'm in school part-time, so that doesn't help. I'm usually pretty busy, right? But tonight, I'm bored. So what do I do when I am bored? I eat, primarily. And I usually zone out and watch YouTube. Or I'll watch my friend Jocelyn streaming on twitch.tv/thegeekcorner. Check her out. She's pretty slick. But I tend to go on YouTube. Quite a bit of YouTube, actually. Like, I range from video gaming content that I watch to all kinds of crafting videos to history to I don't even know what all I watch anymore. Like, it gets so convoluted, or it ends up being a shotgun approach to everything. But a lot of what I've been watching lately is videos on how to blacksmith. Now, if you've been to the channel before, you may remember that I, for a very short time in my life, when I was a younger teenager, on the younger side of the teenage years, I dabbled a very little bit in blacksmithing. I had a really basic old, I think it was a meat smoker at one point that my dad bought. I inverted the lid and I packed it full of plaster of Paris, which is not a great material for it. I've since learned, but whatever, it was fine for me. I loaded it up with charcoal briquettes, which again, awful medium for heat. I've since learned. And I heated some iron, and I grabbed some of my dad's pliers, and I went to town with a 2.5 pound sledge hammer, or a mini sledge, which is really cool. It was a lot of fun. I had a blast with it. I didn't make anything special. I made nails. That sounds ridiculous, but I made tapered, not super sharp, but tapered, and then top flat nails. And it was so cool. And there are so many lessons to be learned doing a craft like that. And so I'm thinking about picking it up again. And by thinking about it, I mean I've already ordered some metal. And I still have my tongs that my dad bought, my blacksmithing tongs. I still have both of the hammers that I had. I have a piece of railroad iron that I plan on reshaping with my angle grinder. And I might be able to capture some of it on video. It's not going to be amazing cinematography. I'm not going to be able to do anything like the Alex Steele channel or anything like that, but I'm going to play around with the idea of maybe uploading some of that content at some point. Will it be something that lasts long on the channel? I don't know. I don't care. I want to blacksmith again. To the point where, as these videos are playing in the background, I've started shopping online for an anvil, for a torch, for respiratory equipment to make sure that I am masked up and safe, not from COVID, although whatever. but from like metal particles and things like that. I've started refurbishing my bandsaw. Like I've got, if you don't know this, like I know it's easy to look at like all of this stuff, or like to hear about me having 4 monitors, or I've got lights, or I do recording, and I'm a programmer and stuff, but I actually have a lot of tools. I have a lot of tools, and I know how to use almost all of them. In fact, I know how to use all of them. I just haven't had to use all of them a ton. I don't know how to weld anymore. I've forgotten how to weld. So I want to blacksmith again. And I plan to get back into it. It's been a long time. It's going on, I want to say it's been 12 or 13 years since I did. Probably 12 years. And I'm stoked. Like this face doesn't look like I'm stoked. And I'm rambling. Again, I'm making this video because I'm bored. And I'll probably throw together a quick edit on this and post it tonight. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling. But I can't get it out of my head. And I have this thing. And I've said this in previous videos. I remember for sure. I have this unwavering desire and need to create, to make. I fixate on it. I drive towards it. I am hyper focused on creating something. Videos, stories, 3D models, blacksmithing items. The thing is, I'm obsessed with learning. And that's what it is. Like I love making things. I do. And maybe it's ADHD, maybe it's whatever. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. What matters is I have this unwavering, insatiable drive to create all the time, constantly. And even when I'm bored out of my skull, it's because I'm not creating. I'm bored because it's at this point 10:53 p.m. where I'm at, and I can't go out and bash metal because I'll wake up the neighbors or wake up my kids. I can't sing into my microphone like I want to. I want to sing music, and I'm not tone deaf, but I'm out of practice for sure. I want to mix music. I want to make more content. I want to do so many things, but I get bored because of the restrictions on my time, and I'm not willing to sacrifice the time with my family, the time at work, and I wish I could sacrifice the time at school, but I'm gonna trudge through that one and get my bachelor's degree. Because I have an associate's degree, and I went back to school to get my bachelor's degree because I wanted a fallback plan. And believe it or not, YouTube is not a fallback plan for most people. I'm obsessed with learning. And because of that, I sit down for hours on end and I watch videos. And because of the way that I was taught as a kid from my parents, specifically, no school taught me any of this stuff. I learned a lot in school, but I didn't learn any of this stuff. I understand how to reverse engineer things. I can look at things and break them down into their most basic parts, not atomic parts, but their most simple manufactured parts, and design and build something out of that. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes focus, but I can do it in most cases. Now, we're not going to talk about like medical stuff or whatever. I'm talking like machinery, I'm talking software. I'm talking about a lot of things I can do this with, right? And the more I watch something, the more into it I get. And the more I realize I could do that. Why don't I do this? Why didn't I think of that? So I'm going to do this. And it may never get off the ground. It may never be something that turns a profit. But hobbies typically don't. I'm not in it for the money. I'm not into YouTube or TikTok or Instagram or anything like that for the money. I'm not. I simply am not. I'm in it for the fun. I'm in it for me. And I'm just bringing you along for the ride. And I appreciate you being here. Don't get me wrong. I love that you're here. I really, truly appreciate that you're here. Because you are an integral part of who I am as a person. Not codependent style or whatever, because there's a lot of you and there's one of me. No. What I mean by that is I share. Sometimes I overshare. I never undershare. Sometimes I share way too much. Quite often I do. But I'm a very open person. An incredibly open person. And sometimes that's gotten me in trouble in my life. But I also suck at lying. I'm an honest person, and I'm usually pretty straight and to the point. I'm very direct. I don't like lying. I don't like beating around the bush. I talk a lot. And I'm not good at holding secrets. I've had a good week at work. I've had a garbage week, personally. I finally feel better from my illness. It's been 2.5 weeks. But almost 3 weeks. But I have had a rough week. I've had some family stuff crop up that I won't get into because it's none of your business, and that's okay. But it's really made me sit down and think about what I want to do. And I love content creation. I do. I love this. I love editing. I love audio. I love talking to you. I like interacting in the comments. I like social media posting and stuff like that. But I love all of it because I get to create and I get to share. I get to share with you anything I want to. So I really do appreciate you being here. I appreciate you listening. And I appreciate you being willing to take time out of your day to be here. I mean it at the end of every video when I say, have a good one. Because I hope genuinely that you do have a good one. But I'm going to offer something, and I may forget to bring it into other videos, but I'm going to offer something to you at this point in this video. Not only do I want you to have a good one, I want you to chase your dream. Chase after it like a starving dog after a morsel of food. Chase your dream until you're exhausted, and then go get some sleep. Grab a bite to eat, and chase it again, and chase it more. Chase it and find it and own it. Get your dream into reality. And that sounds like a bunch of BS, like, well, I want to be a doctor and I don't have the money for school. Okay, chill. I get it. But manifest it. Make it happen. This world does not revolve around you. You have to make a part of the world revolve around you. By yourself. Or with a couple of friends, granted. But you have to initiate that change. The world is not going to do it for you. You can, though. You can do it for you. You've got this. Now, some people are going to call me out and say, well, some people's dream is to be able to walk again after being in a car accident and they're paraplegics. I'm sorry. That's not what I'm getting at. And I hope it doesn't come across that way. This video's dragging on. We're at like 14 minutes of just me rambling about boredom and obsession. I guess we have the title for this video. But blacksmithing is something that I'm super passionate about right now. And I'm scared about that. Because I have a tendency to get into something. I have a tendency to get into a new hobby, spend some money on the stuff, investigate it, and then when I get into it just far enough to say, oh, I made a couple of things, or I did a couple of things in it, I drop it. I'm really worried that this will be the case with this blacksmithing stuff. That's why I'm trying to be careful about where I spend my money with it. Put some money into the proper equipment for health reasons, especially. Because once you get metal debris in your lungs, it doesn't come out. It doesn't degrade. Not in your lifetime. And certainly not in mine. But other than that, I don't want to ever... I don't want to drop this one. Because this is something I can teach my kids. This is something that I can teach me. This is something I could teach other people. Something I could share with you, maybe, if you're interested. But certainly something I could share with my kids if they're interested. And like I said, there are an incredible number of things you can learn from a craft, especially a traditional craft. Because blacksmithing, it takes patience. It takes willingness to roll up your sleeves and get dirty. It takes drive. It takes ambition. It takes education. I mean, metallurgy is a whole field. And if you learn the basics of it, you can make some Damascus steel. You can make knives. You can make swords. You can make coat hangers. You can make railways. Not railways like for trains, but like for like stairs. You can make furniture. You can make brackets for cameras, for guitars, for anything. And with the right equipment, you can start machining stuff into a more refined shape. Now, I'm not saying I'm ever going to get a full-on machine shop and start turning metal with a lathe or anything like that, but I want to make. I want to create. And I want to do it outside of my office sometimes. And I think blacksmithing is the way that I want to do that. It's not going to be super fancy. It's probably going to be fairly rustic, but that's okay. That's okay. I guess this is going to kind of wrap up this video. I know this was random. This was me rambling. This is not something that I scripted, because I don't script anything. This is not something I planned out. I literally hit record and said, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. Don't tell them about the blacksmithing. And here I am talking about the blacksmithing. I overshare. But no, I mean it. I'm excited for this, and I'm going to end this video with this. Just like I said earlier. Go out into the world and chase your dream. If it costs money, I don't know how you're going to get the money. If it takes time and you have no extra time, I don't know how you're going to do it. I have no answers on how you're going to do it. I don't know your situation. But make it happen. I've spent 20 plus years of my life making it happen. I grew up in a homestead in rural BFE, and I didn't know a whole lot of anything, but I learned. And I was open to change. I was open to, and not very open to change, trust me, I was very against it for a long time, but I started learning and picking up on things, and I started accepting my education, and started learning outside the classroom, and I started spending time focusing on what I wanted to learn, and I earned, and I moved up, and I changed, and I shifted, I took risks, and I eventually made it to where I am. I'm a software engineer, chasing a software architect position that I am fully capable of doing because I'm doing the work for it now. And I love it. I love my job. And I love my family. I have 2 beautiful children. I have an incredible wife. I have an amazing house that I'm incredibly blessed to have. I love my life. But I can tell you that if I didn't put in my hard work, if I didn't manifest my dreams, I wouldn't have most of this, if any of it. I went out into the world and I made it happen. And you can too. Even if it feels like the world is beating you down, you can absolutely make this happen. It might be a little bit tougher some days. Might be a little bit easier other days. But trust me, you are fully capable of making your dream happen. I believe in you that much. I know you can do it. So go out there and chase your dream. Make it yours. And then make it real. Make it your life. And until next time, have a good one.